All right, let's jump into another deep dive. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Liverpool's win over West Ham. 5-0. Pretty dominant, right? The source material we're looking at today kind of reads like a recap you'd hear on like a sports podcast. So we're basically dissecting the highlights, figuring out what went down.
Yeah, definitely a game with a lot to unpack.
Especially since this win puts Liverpool 8 points clear at the top of the Premier League.
Yeah.
We'll talk about some of the stand-up moments like Salah's goal streak, which is, I mean, he's just on fire this season.
Yeah, he's incredible to watch.
Also, get this, a defender scored from long range.
Oh, wow. That's been quite a shot.
Yeah, we'll get into that. And then there was this West Ham player who hit the woodwork not once, but twice.
Oh, man, talk about unlucky.
Right. So much to discuss, so let's get started. What I found interesting right off the bat was the context for both teams. Liverpool, they were coming off a big win against Tottenham, so they were riding high.
Yeah, definitely had the momentum.
And then West Ham, well, they've been kind of struggling to find their footing.
It's interesting how those narratives play into a match.
Absolutely. Did the lineups throw any curveballs? Any key players missing?
Not really. Both sides had their usual starters out there.
Okay, so both teams at full strength. But from kickoff, the source material really emphasizes Liverpool's dominance.
Yeah, they were relentless.
Like West Ham just couldn't keep possession.
It all came down to Liverpool's pressing. They just suffocated West Ham's midfield. For those listening who might not be familiar with pressing.
Yeah, good point. Break it down for us.
Basically, it's when players immediately try to win the ball back right after losing it.
So, super aggressive.
Exactly. And Liverpool were doing it perfectly. Even Declan Rice and Paqueta.
Who are usually so good at controlling the midfield.
Right. They had no space to breathe.
So, it sounds like this was more than just individual skill. It was a real tactical move from Liverpool.
Absolutely. It was a masterclass.
They forced West Ham into making mistakes, and then, boom, they capitalized.
Exactly. They were in control the entire match.
And then the goals started rolling in.
5 of them.
And each goal showed off a different strength of Liverpool's attack.
Yeah.
That first goal from Diaz, it was a rocket.
Yeah, what a strike.
It really set the tone for the whole match. Not just his individual talent, but also the space Liverpool had created.
Right, all thanks to their pressing.
Then you have Gakpo, so cool and composed.
Yeah, he made it look easy.
And Alexander-Arnold, well, he got a little lucky with a deflection.
A little bit, yeah.
But even still, it shows how much pressure Liverpool was putting on West Ham's defense, to the point where any little touch could turn into a goal.
That's the kind of pressure that wears down a team.
And of course, we can't forget Salah. I mean, come on.
The man's a machine.
He was involved in almost every attack, setting up goals, scoring them himself.
And he hit a huge milestone in this game, his 20th goal of the season.
It is insane.
It's not just about the goals, though. It's his overall impact.
Right.
Those intelligent runs he makes, dragging defenders out of position, creating space for his teammates, that, combined with his finishing, makes him one of the best in the world.
He's always in the right spot at the right time. Like, how does he do that?
It's almost like a sixth sense.
Yeah, totally.
It's not just speed or power, it's intelligence and awareness. He sees the weaknesses in the defense and he exploits them.
Wow, that's something else. So we've got Liverpool dominating, Salah on fire, West Ham struggling to keep up. But we're just getting started. Stick around for part 2, where we'll dive into some of West Ham's almost moments and what this game means for the Premier League.
Yeah, there's a lot more to uncover in this match.
We'll be right back after a short break.
Even in a 5-0 loss, West Ham had a couple of moments. Like, they could have changed the game. Mohammed Kudus, he hit the woodwork twice.
Oh, yeah. I remember reading about that. Twice in one game. Talk about bad luck.
Right.
But also, I wonder, did he just get unlucky, or was there some amazing defending going on?
Could be both.
Like maybe a last-minute save, something like that?
Yeah, forcing him into a tough shot.
It makes you think, even with the score the way it was,
yeah,
West Ham weren't completely out of it.
They still had chances.
Absolutely. And then there was Luis Diaz. He almost scored too.
Right. Almost had one.
It's easy to just give up when you're down by that much, but these moments, I think, show West Ham's resilience.
Yeah, I agree. They didn't just roll over. They kept fighting.
Exactly. So, big picture time.
Yeah, let's talk about the implications.
Liverpool, they're sitting pretty at the top of the table. West Ham, well, they've got some work to do.
Definitely.
What does this result mean for the title race?
Well, this win definitely makes Liverpool the front runner. 8 points is a big lead this early in the season.
Yeah, no doubt. But the Premier League, it's always unpredictable.
Oh, absolutely.
So I don't think we can hand them the trophy just yet.
Right, way too early.
But it does make you wonder, right? Could this be the start of something truly special?
Interesting question.
Could Liverpool go the whole season unbeaten?
It's a long shot, for sure. But this Liverpool team, they've been incredibly consistent.
And disciplined.
Exactly.
But, every team faces hurdles during the season.
For sure.
Injuries, fatigue, the pressure of staying at the top.
It all adds up.
It's how they handle those challenges that'll determine their fate.
Couldn't agree more.
So let's put ourselves in West Ham's manager's shoes for a second. Big loss. What do? How do you even start to make changes?
Well, first things first, don't panic. Don't make any rash decisions based on one result.
Even one as rough as this.
Even this one, it's about taking a step back, analyzing the game objectively, figuring out where things went wrong.
And then addressing those weaknesses.
Exactly.
The source material we're looking at, it really highlights West Ham's struggles in the midfield. Is that where the manager should focus?
Yeah, the midfield battle was definitely key in this match. Liverpool controlled the tempo. They created chances.
Right.
West Ham needs to disrupt that flow somehow. Maybe a more defensive approach. Or even some new players in the transfer window.
So it's not just fixing what went wrong in this game. It's about understanding Liverpool's strengths.
Absolutely.
Figuring out how to counter them.
Exactly.
And that's what's so fascinating about looking at the losing side,
Yeah.
It's about resilience, adaptability, constantly trying to improve.
It's a learning experience.
Before we move on, anything else that really stood out to you? What's the one thing you hope people listening will take away from all this?
I think for me, it was the contrast. Liverpool, they were so clinical.
Yeah.
And West Ham, they just couldn't contain them.
It was like night and day.
It shows you how important tactical awareness and execution are.
It was almost like watching a machine go up against, something that wasn't quite as put together.
Yeah, good analogy.
Liverpool, they moved in sync. Their passes were sharp.
We were operating on a different level.
We've covered a lot, that's for sure. Liverpool's dominance, their tactics, West Ham's road to recovery. We even talked about a potential unbeaten season for Liverpool. It really is amazing to see how these top teams operate. But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about. We talk about Liverpool and their chances of staying unbeaten. But what about West Ham?
Right. How can they bounce back?
Exactly. What could they do tactically to be more competitive against those top teams, like Liverpool?
Well, one option is to be more compact defensively,
Yeah.
especially against a team like Liverpool.
So kind of like bunkering down.
In a way, yeah.
Making things frustrating for Liverpool.
Right. Limit their space, force them into tougher shots.
And then hope for a counterattack.
Exactly. It's about playing smart.
So instead of trying to mash Liverpool's attack, they focus on being solid defensively. And then take advantage of any mistakes Liverpool makes.
Exactly. Sometimes you have to adjust your game plan based on who you're playing.
Right. Be more pragmatic. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But couldn't they also try pressing higher up the field to disrupt Liverpool before they can even get going?
They could, but it's risky.
Why is that?
Pressing high takes a lot of energy.
Oh, right, yeah.
And coordination.
And if you don't do it right,
you leave gaps in your own defense.
And a team like Liverpool, they'll punish you for that.
For sure.
So it sounds like West Ham needs to find that sweet spot. Balance between defense and attack.
Yeah, finding the right approach for each opponent is key.
Not just about sticking to one style.
Absolutely. Every game is different.
Adaptability, that's what it comes down to.
I think so.
This whole discussion about West Ham, it really shows that even in a loss, there's a lot to learn.
Yeah, you can always find those lessons.
Resilience, adaptability, that constant drive to get better.
It's all part of the game.
Well, I think that's a great note to end on. We've analyzed Liverpool's incredible win, we've dissected their tactics, and we've explored how West Ham can come back stronger. I hope our listeners enjoyed this deep dive.
Me too. It was a great discussion.
And remember, folks, even in defeat, there's always something to learn. Until next time, keep exploring the beautiful game.